Thank you for joining us. This is the Nikki Maduro Show. I am Nikki Maduro. She is Kim McAllister, and we talk about all things news, politics, nonsense, everything in between. Make sure you click that thumbs up and subscribe button. And let's get into it. Let's get into
button.
it. Hit the button. Michael Cohen's testimony. I will say this before we get into the whole Michael Cohen testimony. I am kind of getting tired of not having cameras in the courtroom. Like there are just so many times where I'm like, can we just, I don't know about you, but like I watch in the morning CNN's coverage and it's like they have a microphone in their ear where the reporter inside is narrating what's happening and, oh, this tweet came out and this person said that. I'm like, damn it. Can this be the OJ trial, please? I want to see it and hear it myself because I want to see Trump's friggin' face as Cohen is basically selling him up the river. You know what I mean? So basically, Michael Cohen was presenting his case. He's presenting his case to prove that Donald Trump knew about the $130,000 hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. Now, apparently it was 5 hours of testimony. Cohen walked jurors through how he worked with the former National Enquirer editor, David Pecker, best name in the whole case, on Trump's behalf for that catch and kill where we get the story, we buy the rights, and it's not going to go out. How he kept Trump apprised of the hush money negotiations with the attorney for Daniels and the other Playboy model, Karen McDougal. And then how Trump approved and was aware of how Cohen would be falsely repaid in 2017 for the Daniels repayment. Now, you'll remember, obviously Michael Cohen, he is a convicted liar. You know what I mean? That's the thing that I think. And of course, this is just the prosecutor's turn. The defense is going to lean into the fact that Cohen is a demonstrated, documented liar. He's just trying to cover his own ass, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I also think it's really going to come down to the fact of laying out the story that Trump knew and had to have known. Like that, I know that there was also Cohen was recording conversations between Pecker and Trump. And I think the thinking of Cohen was like, I just wanted to make sure that David Pecker would, keep up his end of the bargain, right? Like actually catch and kill that he was documented. I don't know if Cohen really thought that it was going to come the other way and be kind of the nail in the coffin for the former president. But I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm not quite sure yet. And again, the prosecutors are going to continue today, but before the defense, I'm really worried, Kim. I don't know how you feel about the whole thing, but I don't know.
I feel like they had to corroborate everything Michael Cohen said because he has lied before and is known as someone who has not told the truth, right?
Exactly.
And so that makes the case even more ironclad because for everything Michael Cohen said, the prosecution has a corroborating witness. Yeah. That's why they've had to parade so many people here. And so it's basically a backup to the backup, right?
Right.
And so it seems to me like they have more evidence than they ever would have needed to say everything Michael Cohen says is true.
Yeah.
And if you believe these other people, you have to believe him. One of the things that surprised me was that after all he did in a sneaky, underhanded, diabolical way for Trump, he said his budget got cut, his bonus got cut.
Oh, yeah.
And he wasn't paid what he thought he was going to be paid.
Shocking.
Story
Trump
of
always
Trump's life,
does that.
Right?
Yes.
And he was upset that he wasn't considered for a job in the White House and all these things. It's like Trump has this thing with loyalty, right? Yeah. If you take care of him, he's going to take care of you.
Sometimes if he wants to.
Didn't take care of Michael Cohen. No, and look what happens. It turns around and bites him right in the butt.
Exactly. And I think that that's also an excellent point is it was this idea, and I was reading one thing in Politico where, Michael Cohen loved to call himself the fixer, and then the Trumps were trying to couch it as, well, that's because he breaks it in the first place. Like, it's his fault that we have to fix things. It's not Trump's fault or the family's fault or whatever. It's Michael Cohen's fault. Give me a friggin' break. Like, nobody digs into their own pocket to benefit somebody else. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But I do believe that there probably are very hurt feelings for Michael Cohen who felt like Trump was obviously going to be loyal to me. I mean, look at all the things that I did for him. And no, that's not the case, because Trump decides when he's done with you. And that's basically what I think one of the things that happened is Michael Cohen was becoming more of a problem than a fixer. And, but, obviously forgetting everything that Michael Cohen had done for him. And now we find ourselves in this position. We had talked yesterday about the family. Family's not in court. Where's Melania? Blah, blah, blah. Another thing that came out today was kind of what Michael Cohen said about Trump's reaction to the prospect of Melania finding out about this encounter with Stormy Daniels. So he said among the revelation was a stunningly flippant reaction that Cohen says he got from Trump when he asked how Mrs. Trump might take the story. And Trump said, quote, "How long do you think I'll be on the market for? Not long." He wasn't thinking about Melania. Cohen said this was all about the campaign. And I don't know why I'm writing this story in my head that in the 11th hour, Melania is going to barge into the court as like some surprise witness and be like, nah, he told me. He totally did it. Book him, Dano. You know what I mean? Something.
She wouldn't do that. I mean, then he would fight all the money that she's going to get in the eventual divorce.
But there's part of me that's like, I just wish Melania, she has to be in the marriage for money. I get that. I get that, but I just wish there was something more to her.
There's probably some type of stipulation that says, if you open your mouth to speak against me, you'll get X much less.
They've been married a long time, Kim. No. They've been married a very long time. You think he was thinking that far ahead? Absolutely. I mean, I don't really find Trump to be a chess player. This isn't his first time at the rodeo. He's already had what Ivana, his first wife, wrote a tell-all book. No, he's probably got a caveat in there saying for her to keep her mouth closed. Absolutely. It's like, how much can one person take? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much, if you were a married woman, so side note, I'm watching trashy TV, right? I'm watching freaking Vanderpump Rules, which is a trashy show. It's stupid. Don't watch it. But there's this line that Lisa Vanderpump gives when a young woman, she's cheated on by her fiance, the same man she was the mistress to because he had been married before.
Big surprise there.
And Lisa Vanderpump goes, you usually lose them in the same way you got them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Melania shouldn't be surprised, but they've been married for a very freaking long time. And I just think it has more to do with the fact that Trump got older, right? And he's like, well, Melania's hot, so I'll just stick with her. Right. But how much can one woman take? Like, how much humiliation? I can't imagine she's that dead inside. I mean, is she that dead inside? Where it's just like, you can just step and spit all over our whatever kind of union marriage this is. But you've humiliated me. You're humiliated me.
You're assuming they had that kind of relationship to begin with.
But she has to be first lady again if he wins.
You're assuming that that they haven't had the deal from the get-go that he's going to sleep with everything that moves, right?
Yeah, I guess.
She might say something like that, though. Hey, could you try to keep it on the down low? No, I couldn't, but other people have different relationships. We don't know.
I just can't imagine.
Would that be acceptable to me? No, not at all.
Obviously not.
No.
I will say, Melania aside, it'll be interesting to see however this, I hope that this leads to him ending up in jail. Honestly, I hope it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen. Whatever way this case comes out, it's going to be interesting to see both of them. No matter what, everybody freaking knows that he screwed Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal.
Of course he did.
And for her to stand up there and hold his freaking hand again for another, God forbid, 4 years, right? Like, are you serious? Are you serious that you're going to try to sell this nonsense again? Give me a break.
That's the embarrassing part to me, is having all this come out and then having to go stand by their side again.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Another thing that's kind of gross to watch during these trials is, of course, the loyalists. So one small group, according to Politico, has been turning up consistently, and it's New Yorkers of Chinese descent. Okay. And they go, and this is what the Politico reports. They say, we want to show the court, stop political prosecution. That's not right. That's China. If you do political persecution, that's the Chinese Communist Party. This is America. And they're quoting this
Oh,
I
so
Wong of
they
Queens.
they bought it hook, line, and sinker. Then
This
they're
is
believing what
not political
this is non-political
prosecution.
prosecution, but people believe that. You say
It's
something enough
ridiculous.
times and people believe that this isn't the justice system at work.
Right. I mean, and the thing that they keep talking about, this is Chinese, communist China. If you give Donald Trump, right, full immunity, what do you think we're getting? We're getting a friggin' dictator. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Did someone, by the way, what he's facing happened before he was president. Okay. So we're not even talking about something that happened while he was president. And guess what? He's facing charges and he's still not president. Right? It's not political persecution. It's bad headlines while you're campaigning. It was that in 2016 and it's now that in 2024. You're an asshat. You're not a good person. You're trying to hide the headlines. Sorry, dude. It's hard to campaign on that. Do you know how many politicians run for office and then skeletons come out? That is literally the part of the campaign that worries people on the campaign the most. They're like, what skeletons do you have in your closet? For Trump, it was just, a bunch of porn stars and Playboy models. I mean, that's what it was.
Do you think it makes me feel like people have these... There are many people with a type of mind that instead of being logical and thinking things through, want to believe the conspiracy and the ooginess. Like they want to go there.
Exactly.
Their mind just it's like a magnet. Their mind goes right to the thing that makes the least sense because it's the most, crazy.
Well, do you want to hear my conspiracy theory about these people of Chinese descent? Is that they're being paid to be there.
Oh,
that they're being paid to be there to say what Trump wants to say.
Yeah,
okay, so I'm going to pay you. Remember, it's just like when he came down in the gold escalator, and people were like, back then it was a spectacle, so people just showed up. But some of these rallies you've heard, they're paying people to show up. They put it on Craigslist or whatever. I got hired to stand in a crowd, which is not illegal, but don't act like these people are all there on their own volition. Yeah. I just feel like, especially when Politico said this small group of Chinese, and it's the Chinese Communist Party, which is such a talking point of the far right. I'm like, So that's my conspiracy theory. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not there. I don't know if that's true, but I'm just like, give me a break over here. You want a dictator. Don't talk to me about communism when you want a dictator. So just stop it. But speaking of conspiracies and latching onto conspiracies, good old Rudy Giuliani, black hair dye streaming down his face. He was suspended from New York City radio station WABC, not NBC, WABC, and his talk show was canceled after he kept ignoring orders not to discuss false 2020 election conspiracy theories. Apparently he had hosted the daily talk show on the AM station for 3 years. He was pulled last Friday after he kept repeating the conspiracy theories. He was repeatedly directed not to make claims of electronic voting manipulation, but he kept doing it. See, this is the problem. Like, why do you think Rudy does it? Does he obviously he's lost any sort of America's mayor reputation he had after 9/11 is so far in the distant memory. You would think it was two different people. You would think that the way people talked about Rudy Giuliani after 9/11 and this Rudy Giuliani are not even the same freaking person. Like, I don't know, man.
I think he has a serious case of some type of dementia or medical issue.
Why is it always that though? Or he's just badass crazy, right?
He should probably be in the home. Is where he should be. He should be getting care and not allowed to be on the radio, not allowed to be doing the podcast. Like, everything that comes out is embarrassing. Just go ahead and take a seat in your rocker, and here's your blanket for your knee, and we're just going to have you rock back and forth and be calm now.
Well, Bloomberg News highlighted Giuliani had doubled down on those defamatory comments about two Georgia poll workers who had previously won a $148 million judgment against Giuliani. You would think a $148 million judgment would land somewhere in the brain, but it didn't. Giuliani was sent a letter the same day reminding him to avoid the subject on air. That was ignored. And then he was ultimately suspended. Now, Giuliani's basically, I don't know, not broke, but he has problems financially. Yeah. He's on the hook for the millions in legal fees. In addition to that $150 he owes the Georgia $150 million. he owes the Georgia election workers. And then apparently the radio station order said that Giuliani gave me an ultimatum. He texted me that I had to double his airtime and compensation by May 28th. I told him I wanted to sit down to discuss it. And then, of course, he was suspended. And he's pissed about it. And I get why. I mean, I understand why Giuliani's mad, but my problem is because he stays hitched to the Trump train, and the Trump train is heading to hell, dude. Like, I think they're just hoping that he wins re-election and then all of this will get sorted out. But it's not going to, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to. Okay.
No, I don't think it will. And the problem also is you see, this is not someone who's not a clear-headed.
No.
He needs the money.
He does need the money.
Really needs the money. So if you're making money at a station like WABC.
Right.
And they say,
stop saying something.
We need you to stop saying something, and usually a warning comes like this. Not that I've received one, but it comes like this. We need you to stop saying this, or you need to do this, or else there's a risk of suspension or termination.
Or something. Yes.
They tell you what they want you to do, and then they list the consequences if you do not do it. And so for him to need the money.
Yes, and then still
to be facing bankruptcy and facing the repayment of all these people. And having to go to Trump with his hand out, and they have to throw charity dinners at the golf course to fund his legal bills.
So humiliating.
Now he's suspended because he can't shut his mouth. That's not thinking clearly.
Well, this is his reaction after it gets canceled.
Maybe there was a policy. Maybe there wasn't a policy. I sure as heck never saw the policy. For the last 3 to 4 years, I've been saying the same things. I just want to be free to tell people the truth.
It's not the truth, though.
You want to stop me. Don't
you want to stop it?
So he's saying that
he is insane. Like, that's insane. That's an insane man. Like, it's not true. People have won millions of dollars in judgments, right? Like, stop. And it's a delusion. Maybe you're right, Kim. I don't know. I mean, maybe the simplest answer is the answer. He's just out of his mind.
I think we knew when we saw the hair dye incident that it was where the train was off the tracks.
When he was in front of the Four Seasons, what was it, that car mechanic? And they try to play it off like they meant to freaking be there. Like, that to me, I was like, oh my God. They really think we're dumb.
Yeah. And listen, this could happen to us all at some point. At some point, our mind might get a little fuzzy, and someone that cares about us needs to pick us up and say,
oh my
okay,
God.
your time in front of the camera is through, right?
Yeah, but I'm not running for president of the United States. No. I wasn't on the president's, advisory team like Rudy Giuliani. I mean, again, it's all funny and ha until you realize that, again, and I say this so many times, Trump is the Republican candidate for president. I mean, we could think, oh my God, he could become president again. That's the scary thing. It's not that, oh, he's crazy. Oh, he totally slept with Stormy Daniels. Oh, of course he paid her off. Of course he lied about it. Of course. And yeah, I'm still going to vote for him. Are you insane? Are you insane?
I don't know if you saw the story over the weekend too, but that Trump is leading in a bunch of swing states now.
I don't believe polls. I don't believe polls. I think they're all full of crap.
I'm sorry, but this was done with a wide sample and on cell phones as well. So, I mean, I hope you're right, but I saw that study and it made me feel a little oogie inside. Like, how could we really be headed down this mountain again?
I can't imagine another 4 years of his nonsense. I just can't imagine that people even want, and then people are like, oh, but the economy. No, it wasn't. We had 2 years of decent things. And Trump went, he went nuts from the very freaking beginning. But it just, even when they had control of Congress and everything, they didn't get anything done. I mean, and stop it. The tax breaks, the for the rich that are forever, but they sunset for us regular folk, that was Trump. All your stuff going up and being repealed now under Biden, that was calculated. But then I have to end on this one video because it was cracking me up. And, again, it's the delusion. It's not just Giuliani. It's not just Donald Trump. But obviously it runs in the family.
Mark, 110 subpoenas in the last 7 years. Those are ones that I've received personally. 110 subpoenas in 7 years. I've never gotten so much as a traffic ticket. We're a good family. Never done anything wrong. Mark, 110
never done anything wrong. So People are like, wait a minute, you've never done anything wrong? Never done anything wrong.
That whole overvaluing businesses thing, that wasn't wrong?
So somebody made a nice list of all the things that they've done wrong. In 1998, 447,000 money laundering violations. 2000, $250,000 in a New York lobby commission investigation. 2006, $100,000 in a Palm Beach flag ordinance. 799,000 defamation violation by Trump University students. $10 million money laundering violations in 2015. In 2016, $50,000 in a data and credit card breach. $1.3 million in FEC disclosure errors in 2016. The Trump University fraud, it cost him $25 million. The Trump Foundation fraud, $2 million. There was a Scotland wind farm that they had to pay $290,000 out of. Trump campaign forced to refund to donors $122 million, scamming his own donors. $110,000 for contempt of court in 2022, same year, $750,000 funneling inaugural funds to his business. And it goes on.
But they're the really nice family.
They've never done anything wrong.
Oh my God.
They've never done anything wrong. I mean, it's just, it would be laughable. Exactly. It would be laughable if it wasn't true. And if, again, he wasn't the Republican candidate. If it was still the primary, if he wasn't leading in the polls, I'd be like, yeah, screw this dude. Like, people love Trump for some odd reason, but this guy is a couple of months away from getting his ass back in the White House. And I cannot freaking believe it. And I will work my hardest to prevent it from happening. Oh God, can you imagine seeing that face? What do we need that face for? Jesus Lord Almighty. Thanks, Eric.
Oh, before we go, I wanted to tell you that yesterday they blew up what was left of the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Oh yes.
Yes, and the video on CNN is pretty incredible.
Okay, so now again, just to catch everybody up, this was the bridge where the ship ran into it, and then the bridge lost that battle. Okay, so
and it's like this part of the bridge remained, and underneath the surface is this twisted metal. It's been hard for them to clean up this shipping channel, but they're trying to get all this debris out. In order to do that, they had to do this.
Okay, let's see this video.
Oops, hold on. I'm gonna get it to you. I'm gonna get it to you.
Press the button, Kim. Press the button.
Here it is.
Okay.
Got too many windows open.
Dang. Now, are they going to be able to get all that stuff out of the water? Because, are they just creating another environmental disaster over here?
No, I guess when they blow it up like that in chunks, maybe it's easier to pick out.
Yeah, and again, many people lost their lives because of this accident, so obviously it has to be hard to see. But that's a major kind of thoroughfare for all the shipping ships. So yeah, wow, that was quite a sight. That was really good. And again, we talked about this yesterday. The Northern Lights. Apparently, there's more and more chances. I still, my friend, have not seen it, so I'll take the explosion. That was easier to see.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Well, tonight there's a less of a chance than there was Friday night, but there's still a chance.
Look up. Get somewhere dark, though. You got to get somewhere dark.
We're in an 11-year solar cycle, and so there's going to be more of these solar storms.
Oh, good.
Probably. You're like, woohoo, power outage. The next one, they think they have a hard time pinpointing it until it's about 45 minutes away from happening with the aurora borealis conditions.
Okay.
But they think that maybe July of 2025.
I'll put it on my calendar.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Tomorrow we're going to talk about gas prices. California, again, is going to hit record highs. And what they're proposing has me just as angry as I am at PG&E. And how many of you are traveling for Memorial Day? And is raising gas prices the real answer to fighting climate change? Because again, while I love living in California and the whole as go California, as goes the rest of the nation, it doesn't seem fair that they're kind of pulling the gas price lever every single time as the only push to get people to change their driving habits. And also the Biden administration's getting sued over those junk fees that we all hate. So we'll talk about all of that tomorrow. But before we go, you guys, please click the thumbs up button, show your support for the show. And also make sure you are subscribed. Tell your friends. We're slowly building up more subscribers, but we want even more to join the community. So make sure you share it with your friends, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a moment. Super Chat's always live, whether we are live or recorded. So we appreciate those donations as well. But the number one way to support the show is through our Patreon and our PayPal. You can find our Patreon link at thenikkimadoroshow.com, thenikkimadoroshow.com, or go to paypal.com and just put in the email address thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. And, summer is around the corner. So what better time than to support our sponsor, Auntie Tabby's Island Flavors. They have hot sauces, hibiscus and pineapple, and a delicious guava barbecue sauce that goes good on everything. And if you use the coupon code Nikki M or Nick Kim, NIKKAIM, you get 10% off every single time you order. So check them out. Get it just in time for barbecue season. It's absolutely perfect. So thank you guys so much for being here. We will be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.